Kane Calloway is a prime example of giving free value first. His free content is amazing, and also a prime example of you just need to get a few things right in order to make a good amount of money. You'll see his sales system isn't perfect, but he's still making probably around 150K a month. Sun's about to set, so join me as I break down his funnel before it gets dark. All right. So, as I said, Kane's 150K a month funnel. Let me click on my marker over here. Basically, he sells two things. All right. The first one he sells is AI software. The second one is a social media info product. Okay. Now, I'm not here to tell you which one is going to be better to sell. Of course, there's pros and cons to each. Oftentimes, I believe a mix of the two is the best because software can be a cash eating business. Meanwhile, info is a cash flow business. And sometimes they work really well together, especially in cases where you take a revenue or like you take a split. You make more money based on the success that your students see in the software business. For example, like WAP, they make more money as their, like a community, their creators make more money, which is why Iman Gadzhi is like promoting WAP also with a high ticket program. Like the high ticket program is used to get you super committed to WAP, and then that's going to boost their sales a lot. And then, of course, also boost the market value of that app. So sometimes they work really well together, but I'm going to dissect both of his funnels, of course, mainly with a focus on this one because this is the one I know more about. So I'll just get straight into it. One thing that Kane has that is super, super interesting, all right, is his traffic. So if you look at his Instagram right here, you've probably seen it before. It's really just tech news, AI news, like not at all business news. But then you look at his YouTube and it is all social media. That's it. It's just telling you how to build a good audience, right? So it's really interesting because a lot of people don't run stuff like this. Usually they have corresponding things, and oftentimes audiences like this don't work. But I was talking to him and he said, this is all just a head fake. He said, picture this as me playing in the sandcastle. Picture this as me playing in the sandbox so that I can teach others how to build the best sandcastles. And I think that's super, super interesting. So his head fake traffic is made to get a stupid amount of views. And it also has follow CTAs in order to rack up as many followers as possible. I'll talk more about how this benefits him, but one of the main reasons is by putting him as an authority and then also allowing him to do sponsorships and actually sell his software. So these are why these pieces of content actually perform well. First of all, there's an audio hook. So we'll go ahead and click on one of his videos real quick.
Check this out. This company lets you order sunlight on demand. It's like Uber Eats.
Right. So obviously it's very like trendy, it's important, but the audio hook, he says, check this out, actually activates people, makes them pay attention, stop scrolling. Visual hook, he has a red arrow with the title, usually at all times. If you look in all of his videos, it's got a red arrow with the title. So as you can see, using multiple different hooks, because of course the first sentence is also optimized to be a hook, but that's pretty obvious. It's future based, so a lot of the videos are talking about what's going to happen in the future as if it will impact the person. So this one talks about how you can order sunlight to a specific spot. Of course, it's a really interesting topic, but it makes you think about the future, right? You want to stick around for it. There's also emphasis, as you can see, is a really nice flow, puts emphasis on some of his words, has an important tone that just makes you feel like the video is important. So he's talking as if like you need to watch this video. And then also, this one's not so important, but his brand over time just feels sophisticated. He uses lots of oranges, some blues. The sound and background is often like very similar, and so it kind of gets you in that like positive reinforcements. Okay, brand is complicated. I do think that he could benefit. Oh yeah, I'm going to have these yellow sticky notes everywhere, trying to give my advice on how he could improve. But I think one of the main things he could do is benefit from DMCTAs. So he doesn't have a lot of DMCTAs on his videos, usually just like a follow for more. But if you do have a DMCTA where you can like send them the website or something, you can either use your affiliate link or you can use it to start a conversation like, hey, are you interested in AI and stuff? What do you use AI for? Are you interested in content? I'm sure you could work out some sort of system there that works pretty well. I've seen people like AI surfers do it. Now, as far as monetization goes, right? Number one, Sandcastles AI, his software. So Sandcastles AI is helping content creators become better content creators by using AI, right? Super simple interface, helps them write a bunch of scripts. So his pinned video is actually really good at this. It frames him as the person who helps creators be better storytellers. He's interviewing Mark Zuckerberg. So not only is it in his niche, but it just puts him as a really high authority as well. And they're also talking about the future of creators. He's literally talking to Zuckerberg about creators. It just frames it as like a big authority. And of course, it's also super interesting to watch because it's an interview with Zuck. I mean, who doesn't want to watch that? So this pinned video helps also transition a little bit into AI sandcastles. Again, mainly he promotes it with his other like actual real business channel, but since he's in the AI tech niche, this kind of works. Some people will check this out because they do like content. They'll recommend it to friends. They'll be like, yo, this guy talks about all of this stuff. He has his own, helps really nice. And then also he has sponsorships and affiliates. Being in the tech space, it's a lot of reviews. He has videos of him reviewing Meta glasses and all that type of stuff. A lot of these could potentially be ads. A lot of them might just be interesting to the person. So yeah, that's one way that he does it. Now, as far as the actual funnel goes, again, I'm no professional, but I have seen agency websites and why they work. So he has like a couple, you can see the simple funnel right here. He has many buttons trying to push to a free demo. Now, this just helps you, especially with software, that just helps you see the software in action. Answers all of your questions basically just by itself. The 2-minute demo VSL as well also demonstrates it, and I'll explain why this works in a second. And then he really just gives as much info as possible. So you'll see he talks about how it works, the features in it, the reviews that people have given, the pricing, and the FAQ. It's all info. It's just educating the person. That's this entire funnel. It's just educating the person, educating. And the reason why this works is because it leads with demonstration and not marketing tricks. It's a bit different with software, as you probably know. You want to actually show off the software, show the value, and you do want to do this in basically every form of business, but also there's just no persuasion tactics. The value is so obvious. There's nothing more valuable than an AI software. Like, it'll do it for you. It'll save you time, it'll save you money, it's so worth it. So you don't need these persuasion tactics. You just have to show the value because it's obvious. You don't need to help them realize the value, which is really what persuasion is. You just have to lead with demonstration. And then it also kills every single objection and solves all of their problems. So they're wondering questions, it gets answered. Objections are basically just unanswered questions in their head. It'll all get answered with a funnel like this. And now as far as pricing goes, it's pretty simple. Again, he uses a free trial. Every software uses a free trial because it has a stupid high conversion mechanism. Different number of usages for different avatars, right? So you can see he's got this down to a T. He understands the people coming through his funnel. There's a lot of content creators and there's just a lot of hobbyists looking to try out more AI tools. So he gives you everything in between. And of course, he leads with annual options. This one is probably a great takeaway for low ticket communities as well. Leading with annual really, really lowers churn. You can see it across everything. You can see Hormozi talk about it at school. You can see it work in software like you do here. You can see it work in e-commerce. Increasing your average order value just increases the amount of money you make overall. And this is because, especially with churn, people will look at like the billing cycle. So if you bill them like $5 a day, they're going to see that every single day and cancel eventually because they're going to think about how much value you've given them for each bill. It's not going to be immediately worth it because, like, let's say you have a bad month where you don't really give them much value. They only use the software once, but they saw a $5 like bill every single day. They're like, man, I'm going to cancel this. But if you charge them $250 a year, and then at the end of the year they get that bill, they think about how many times they use your product over the year, and they're like, dude, that was so obviously worth $250. So that's why annual works a lot better than monthly. Yeah, that's basically the whole software, but my actual expertise is in his hero traffic, is what he calls it. This is where he sells a product, right? And you'll see that this product is not actually ideal. There's a lot of things that I think he can fix, which is why I have a lot of sticky notes here, but he's still making a good amount of money because of how much free value he leads with. And I'll break that down in a second. So his hero traffic, it's just straight up new and good information. You'll see a lot of content tips is like, here's what you do with your caption. Here's what you should do with your hashtags. Here's how you optimize. Here's how you do a hook. Yes, he talks about some of those things, but then it's also like new information, like how to build an audience of buyers. Storytelling as well. He likes to lead with the unique mechanism of storytelling. So it's different, right? And he's also focused on authenticity over hacks. You watch his content and he's so good at talking to the camera. It's like, it just feels authentic. He feels like it's in the room with you. Good, transparent vibes is what he has down. The vibe of your video is huge, right? Some content creators, if they have a bad vibe, they're just not going to have good content. But some content creators have content that you don't see other people telling you to make, but they have a good vibe and they're famous. One of my friends that I like to reference is Jason Cooperson. Like, the content he makes is not optimal compared to what other content creators say. Like, there's gaps in between his words, there's pauses, but he has a killer audience. He has killer content. I love to watch it. It's just because of his vibe. His vibe is good, Of course, it goes deeper into that, but I'm not going to go into a whole content course. Now, he leads this to two main things, okay? And it's all free. That's what I think is crazy about him is he does so much free stuff. Not entirely optimal, but some of it would be optimal, such as this 5-day email sequence, right? So, hold on, let me delete this real quick. So first, his 5-day email sequence, okay? You just sign up for it. It's just like you hop on his newsletter, send me day one, right? So you get instant like value out of it, time delay, but it's just filled with value, examples, and not washed down info. Let me show you number 4, right? He also leads it as mistakes, by the way, which is just seems more valuable because it's instead of like tips, it's like what you want. It's the concept of it's easier to run from a bear than it is towards an ice cream truck. It's easier to or it's more valuable to dodge something you know you're doing wrong than to go towards something you think you could be doing right. Just a little ounce of sauce there. But like look at how valuable this is. You got milliseconds to grab attention. I know that there was one, like I learned stuff while I was funnel hacking this guy, and there was one where he was talking about like the reason why shares are the best metric to track on Instagram is because it like a friend will send it to a friend, it re-engages them on the platform, and then they start a new session with which Meta sees as your content is good at re-engaging people. I had no idea about it. Don't know how we figured it out, but it's super, super valuable content that I've never seen anywhere else, right? So super, super valuable. It also teases the next email constantly, which keeps the retention high. This is one of the best things that I've seen out of emails. So if you were to get three big takeaways from this guy's email. One, it's actual content, which means it's filled with value, not promotion. Two, it's constantly teasing the next email, so it's keeping retention up, so you're always looking forward to the next email, however you want to do that. And three, it kind of has its own like realm. Like it has a brand, it has a vibe. He's talking about the mistakes, and he says content virality blueprint, right? It has a vibe, it has a brand. And each one solves a problem, solves an objection, and gives the prospect more belief and opportunity in self. This is the reason why content marketing works. This is the reason why you want to give free value, because they get more belief in themselves. And if they have a question, remember, questions oftentimes can be objections. So if they're wondering like, oh, I don't know how to make good hook, right? That makes them think that they can't make good content. And so when you give them that self-belief that it is possible, that's all they need. They just need to think it's possible. Because if they don't think it's possible, they're not going to buy your product ever. Think about it, right? Like you're telling them, I'll help you get 10K followers in 30 days. If they don't think it's possible, they're not going to buy it. But if you're like, hey, look at this, learn all these things, they're like, okay, I could see how I could get 10K followers in 30 days. Can you help me out? That's how that works, right? I would also include a pitch, a final email, or a teaser to the next day's email, which ends up being a pitch, because at the end of the 5-day sequence, he kind of just stops, right? Again, you can see that a lot of this is just giving free value to build a bigger personal brand, not to sell, which I think is super interesting. There's not really much of a pitch here at the end. Very interesting. Next, it ends up, hold on, there's a train coming. Sorry, that's a bit loud. So then it goes into his newsletter, right, which is Content Depot. So he keeps sending emails at a very low frequency, but they're very, very high quality still. And then it's bringing people over to his YouTube videos by integrating CTAs and hyperlinks. So it's creating this ecosystem of just free value. You consume this piece of content, and if you want, you go over to this piece of content. I wouldn't purely be hyperlinking other YouTube videos because CTR is like low. It's probably going to be 5%. And if you are working at a pretty good email list, I've seen 10 to 15%. And that means that 90 to 85% of people aren't watching the YouTube video that you want them to watch, let alone watch through rate, all that type of stuff. So integrate the content into the email as well as hyperlink it. Don't just do one or the other. Occasionally pitches or integrates their short form Academy, is it? Short form something. I don't remember. It's the info product. And then it still focuses on transparency. It's not super salesy. Now, this also, once you join the newsletter, it sends you an invite to his free school community. Again, stupid amount of free value, right? He kind of has too many like mechanisms. I would either just focus on content, school, or like the email course, which then leads into it. School has been working better from what I've seen, but yeah, it's a big course filled with free value. It's one thing you can buy from him is $750 to $1,250 one-on-one calls, depending on the length, and then it also has links to everything. So things like Short Form Academy, all of these different like a bunch of stuff, right? Free value, long form script writing tool, so one of his tools, probably some affiliate links here and there, long form academy waitlist, right? So you get it. I would also use an auto DM, an onboarding call, a hidden VSL, and some sort of community posts to promote the short form academy more though, because he really just has one mechanism of hope they watch the video and then click the link. Pretty simple, but YouTube can just do that. The nice thing about Skool is there's so many different ways to attack them, right? Like you literally got Skool posts where you can do launches. You've got the DM feature where you can do like Instagram DM type of closing. You can integrate a hidden VSL into the course. You can book an onboarding call. You can have webinars in the group calendar. There's so many conversion mechanisms that once you build that community and people are getting hit by all of them. Okay. Now, conversions on the short form academy. This is like his funnel. This is where things start to get a little bit confusing because I don't really, I mean, like I kind of understand it, but it can very much be optimized. So it's just a wait list, right? So he focuses on getting a list of the absolute warmest leads. Hold on one second. So he's only looking for people who are interested in coaching to join the waitlist, and then he uses open and reopen launches to keep people paying attention to their email. So occasionally he'll be like, I'm opening up doors, I'm closing doors, just a casual reopen open launches, not stuff like what Iman Gadzhi does where it's a whole new product, not stuff like what other people do where it's like a new feature. It's just simple open reopen launches work really, really well sometimes. And then he uses insane scarcity and urgency to get people sold. I'll pull up an email here in a second, and he makes it seem exclusive and private. So it's always a private link, private invite. The funnel says it, the emails say it, all of that stuff. And he also promotes it privately. Like he doesn't promote it on the front end. It's only for the people who signed up for the waitlist. And by insane scarcity and urgency, I mean like he only says I'm accepting 17 more people. And then he says that doors are closing within 3 days. And then he says that pricing is also going to increase from X to X once enough people join. As you can see, a great marketer uses multiple forms of urgency, not just one. Very, very helpful thing to know. And then what he does is at the bottom of the emails, he says, reply claim right now, and I'll send you the private link to join today. This is not optimal when you're having like emails. Like it's super easy to get them to reply, but then it's not so easy to get them to do the next step. They'll put it off, all that sort of stuff. But it works, right? It works for him, and you'll see that because of how good of the free value that he provides. And again, it just keeps it really exclusive and private. So it does work pretty well. It's just not what I've seen work best. But yeah. And then this is what the private invite is. First of all, though, this is how we'll promote in the email. If you want to learn my content OS and start driving free leads with organic content, blah, 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 reply this and I'll send you early access before we announce publicly. There's going to be less replies than clicks, almost 98% of the time, because it's harder, just a tad bit harder. But that's just how it works, right? So he's really just focusing on getting the absolute warmest leads possible. But this is how the funnel goes. As you can see, private invite, right? He really assures it. And what it is it's just a claim my seat and then one massive sales letter. It actually goes like way farther down. This is the format of the sales letter. So it's the description of the product, quick CTA. He'll have a 3-sentence current to desired process. So I like to use this as in sales calls as well. It's just quick 3-sentence offer on what you're going to do to get them from their current to their desired situation. And then they do a feature stack breakdown, basically just breaking down each of the features, which I'll show you in a second. 3 phases breakdown. So this is kind of a roadmap so they understand what their journey will look like. And then pricing, of course, guarantee CTA. Could include some urgency and scarcity right here. Could include more of a story, right? Probably like right here, but it works, right? So I would also add results and testimonials too, right? Testimonials like right here. Couple testimonials right here. Just testimonials are always great. Strikes belief, everything you need. The offer, his offer is also a really stupid good offer. All right, so if you know Jason Fladlien made quarter billion, off webinar sales. He talks about offers all the time, and these check like almost every single box of like S tier offers. So as you can see, personal guidance, buyer activation flows, lifetime access to his AI, and then also a content operating system. Now, this is one-on-one coaching. This is conversion methods. This is software, and then copy and paste systems. So of course, these two are pretty valuable, but software and one-on-one coaching are some of the best features you can add in your feature stack. If you just look at Iman Gadzhi, he's been using a new software in every single one of his launches recently. Like this most recent one was like Synthesize AI or something, right? Like using software, it's just such a good feature. And then same with one-on-one coaching. 2 like S tier features. A couple more are like in-person events and done for you things. So yeah, now his price, super interesting to me, is $297 a week. Here's an example of his urgency, by the way, but it keeps it low ticket enough to sell without a sales process. So he can sell across email. He can just send you to this really simple funnel and then make you put in your credit card information right here because it's low ticket still, because it's 297. But of course, the problem is that when it bills on a weekly, they're super likely to cancel. Churn is much better if you do it like annually. You charge like $3,000 a year, or you do like $3,000 for the first 3 months and then $1,000 a year after that. A lot of good ways to go about it that will increase your LTV, which is one of the most important metrics in the entire world. Yeah, that's pretty much everything, right? Very, very interesting funnel, as I was saying. So, off his short form academy, he's making probably anywhere from 60 to 90K a month just off of that simple funnel. And then Sandcastles AI probably making around 75K a month. This one I don't know for sure. This one I'm much more confident on because I can actually see the numbers, but Sandcastles AI, you can make a guess. So in all, he's making about anywhere from 135 to 165K a month. But this is how I think he should scale to 400K a month plus. So I would just do three main things. First, I would promote the application on the front end as well and send more emails because of course keeping it as a private invite is very, very helpful, but you can keep doing private invites in the emails. Keep doing those launches. On another train is coming. Launches operate really, really well if you're just opening a couple of spots, but if you want to maintain a more consistent flow, and if you want to if a video goes viral, but then you're not opening spots at the same time, you're going to lose out on a lot of those leads. And also you can basically double your revenue by doing a private launch and a front end launch. Usually you can match the same numbers. Front end launch usually is even 2 to 3 times bigger. So big cash move right there is by making it less private and opening more spots, all those sorts of stuff. Still frame it as exclusive, of course, but lose out on a little bit of the private exclusivity brand in order to sell more people on the front end. And I would also implement a call funnel to get PIFs because right now charging $247 a week is not going to give you a super high LTV, but you can be charging $4K for 16-week access with almost the same amount of close rate. You can probably be closing the same amount of leads if you just had something like this. So you open spots, right? You send that to a VSL, you send that to an application once they finish watching the VSL, you do a triage call to give them sales asset, whole sales system, make sure that they introduce them to the sales closer, watch the VSL, all sorts of the stuff, and then also give sales assets and high frequency emails, slam them with content like you are really good at doing free content, and hop on the sales call. So if we look at this, right, you definitely have more than 40,000 emails. You already have 20K school members, so you definitely have more than 40,000 emails. So you can get roughly 15K clicks if you open spots. 10% click rate is definitely doable. Send good amount of emails, and then also promote on the front end. You can definitely hit 15K clicks. If 15% apply, you'll get 1,875 applications. These are low numbers. If 20% of those qualify, you'll get 375 leads, and then 80% show rate. You can hop on 300 calls, 40% close rate, 120 closes, 477K revenue, roughly 300K cash collected. Okay. And these are all assuming low numbers. You can get this to 60, 70. You can get this to 90. You can get this way higher. You can get everything way higher. Literally everything. And then at the end, I would consider selling a super high ticket done for you content service as well. Now, this is a bit hard since you are focusing on your AI software. I'm saying this video like I'm talking directly to him. It's hard because he's focusing directly on the AI software. So having 3 businesses is not ideal. But the way you make your free value stands out. You are definitely a leader in the entire space. So having some sort of done for you SMMA almost offer where you're helping content creators scale rather than business owners scale would be crazy, right? 20K for 3 months, 20K a quarter for scripting the content, figuring out how to get it recorded, just overall engaging with the content, posting it on your story. It'd be such a good offer. Definitely something that you could consider, but as long as the software is going well, I would honestly just focus on that because the software has a lot of potential. So hopefully this video made sense to you all. Pretty solid breakdown. I wanted to at least give away as much that I could see. Of course, there's more on the back end that I don't think I can see yet. If you want to go ahead, check out my Instagram. It's linked below. Just drop me a follow, drop me a DM. Let's connect. I love networking. I'll help you out with anything. Share some questions, share some sauce, and yeah. See you next time. Sun is basically set now. Look at that cool orange hue. We did it.